62 years ago, I fired my own brother so I could save $11,000 a year. He had 3 kids. He had a mortgage. He had given me 6 years of his life building my company from nothing. And I sat across from him at a wooden desk and told him the business cannot afford you anymore. That was a lie. The business was fine. I just found someone cheaper. Someone who would not ask for raises. Someone who was not family. My brother looked at me for a long time. He did not yell. He did not curse. He just nodded slowly and said, "I always knew you would do this." Then he walked out. I never saw him again. He died 9 years later from a heart attack. I did not go to the funeral. I told myself I was too busy. The truth is, I was too ashamed. That is who I am. That is the man talking to you right now. I am not your wise grandfather. I am not some gentle soul here to share beautiful lessons about life. I am a 90-year-old man who destroyed every relationship that ever mattered and spent 60 years pretending it was worth it. It was not worth it. You want to know the real price of success. You want to know what they do not print in the magazines and do not teach in the business schools. I will tell you, the price is everything soft inside you. Everything human. You pay with the parts of yourself you cannot get back. And by the time you realize what you have spent, you are too old and too alone to do anything about it. I had $400 million at my peak. I had homes in 3 countries. I had a yacht I used twice. I had a car collection I never drove. I had art on my walls I did not understand. And I had a family that stopped answering my calls 15 years ago. My wife Margaret died thinking I did not love her. That is not a guess. That is what she told our daughter 2 weeks before she passed. She said, "Your father loves his work. I just happened to be nearby." We were married for 53 years. And that is what she believed when she closed her eyes for the last time. I did love her. I loved her more than I knew how to say. But love is not a thing you feel. Love is a thing you prove. And I never proved it. I just assumed she knew. She did not know. Here is something nobody tells you about getting old. You do not forget. Everyone thinks old people forget. They think our minds go soft and the memories fade and eventually we get peace. That is not how it works. The opposite happens. The memories get sharper. The regrets get louder. At 3 a.m. when you cannot sleep and the room is dark and quiet, your whole life plays back in perfect detail. Every mistake, every wrong choice, every person you hurt. I remember the exact words I used when I told my son he was not smart enough to run my company. I remember watching his face collapse. I remember how he tried to hide it. I remember how he walked out of my office that day and never asked me for anything ever again. He was 31 years old. He is 64 now. We have spoken maybe 10 times in the last 30 years. I could call him. I have a phone right here, but I will not. You know why? Because he does not want to hear from me. Because every time I reach out it opens wounds that he has spent decades trying to close. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is leave them alone. That is my relationship with my own children now. My presence hurts more than my absence. You think that will not happen to you. You think you are different. You think you can hustle now and connect later. You think your kids will understand. You think your spouse will wait. Let me tell you what happens while you are thinking all these thoughts. While you are telling yourself these comfortable lies. Your kids stop looking for you in the audience. Your spouse stops expecting you at dinner. The people you love learn to live without you, and they get very good at it. So good that by the time you finally show up, they do not need you anymore. They do not even want you there. You have become a stranger with a familiar face. My daughter Jennifer is 58 years old. Last year I sent her a birthday gift. An expensive necklace from a jeweler I remembered she liked decades ago. She sent it back with a note. 3 words. Please stop trying. Please stop trying. That is what 60 years of choosing money over family gets you. Your own daughter asking you to stop trying to love her. I want to tell you about the night I lost my wife. Not the night she died, the night I actually lost her. It was 1987, March. I do not remember the exact date, but I remember the weather. Cold, raining. She had made dinner and was waiting for me. I called at 9 and told her the meeting ran late. It did not run late. The meeting ended at 6. I went to a bar with clients because I wanted to close another deal. The deal closed. I made an extra $200,000 that year because of that night. When I got home at midnight, Margaret was sitting at the kitchen table. The food was cold, the candles had burned down, and she looked at me with this expression I had never seen before. It was not anger, it was not sadness, it was nothing, complete emptiness. She said, "I am not going to do this anymore." Then she went to bed. She did not mean she was leaving. Margaret never left. She meant something worse. She meant she was going to stop caring. She was going to stay in the marriage, but she was going to disappear from it. And that is exactly what she did. For the next 36 years we lived in the same house and slept in the same bed, and I watched my wife become a ghost. She was there, but she was not there. The woman I married had left. What remained was a stranger who had given up. I did not even notice for the first few years. I was too busy, always too busy. That is the sickness nobody warns you about. Busyness is a drug. It makes you feel important. It makes you feel needed. It makes you feel like you are building something that matters. But it is a lie you tell yourself so you do not have to face what you are actually doing. You are hiding. You are running. You are using work as an excuse to avoid the terrifying vulnerability of actually being present with another human being. I was a coward. Let me say that clearly. I was not a hard worker. I was not dedicated. I was not ambitious. I was afraid. Afraid that if I stopped moving, my family would see who I really was. Afraid that I was not enough without my money. Afraid that love required something from me I did not know how to give. So I gave money instead. I bought my wife diamonds when she wanted dinner conversations. I bought my kids cars when they wanted my attention. I threw money at every problem because money was easy. Money I understood. Money did not ask me to be vulnerable. Money did not require me to sit in uncomfortable silence. Money did not need me to apologize or admit I was wrong or say I am scared. You know what my son told me once? He was maybe 40 years old. We were at some family event, Christmas I think, and he had been drinking a little. He looked at me and said, "Dad, you know what I remember most about my childhood?" I thought he was going to say something nice, some memory I could hold on to. He said, "I remember your briefcase. I remember hearing you come home late and seeing your briefcase by the door. That is what I remember. Not you, your briefcase." I laughed. I actually laughed. I did not know what else to do. But later that night I lay awake, and that sentence played over and over in my head. Your briefcase. My son's primary memory of his father is a leather bag by a door. That is my legacy. That is what I left behind while I was out building an empire. Let me tell you something about empires. They do not last. Nothing lasts. The company I spent my life building was sold 8 years ago. The new owners fired most of the people I hired. They changed the name. They moved the headquarters. Everything I sacrificed my family for is gone now. It exists only on paper, and even that paper is buried in some filing cabinet nobody will ever open. But my son still has that memory of the briefcase. My daughter still has that necklace she sent back to me. My wife still died believing I did not love her. Those things are permanent. Those things are what I actually built. I want to give you a piece of information that might change how you see everything. I did not understand this until I was in my 80s. By then it was too late, but maybe it is not too late for you. Every human being has 2 accounts, not bank accounts, life accounts. The first account is your achievement account. This is where you store your success, your money, your status, your accomplishments, your titles. Every time you close a deal or get a promotion or buy something expensive, you are depositing into this account. Society tells you this is the only account that matters. Society is wrong. The second account is your connection account. This is where you store your relationships, your presence, your attention, your vulnerability. Every time you put down your phone and look your child in the eyes, you are depositing into this account. Every time you listen to your spouse without trying to fix anything, you are depositing into this account. Every time you show up when it is inconvenient, you are depositing into this account. Here is what nobody tells you. You can only spend from one account at a time. And the exchange rate is brutal. Let me explain. Every hour you spend building your achievement account is an hour you cannot spend building your connection account. Fine, you know that. But here is the part you do not know. The connection account has a deadline. The achievement account does not. You can make money at any age. You can build a career at any age. You can start a business at 80 if you want. But you cannot be there for your daughter's first dance at any age. That moment comes once. You miss it, and it is gone forever. You cannot comfort your son after his first heartbreak at any age. That moment comes once. You miss it, and he learns to stop coming to you for comfort. You cannot hold your wife's hand during the hard years at any age. Those years pass and she learns to survive without your hand. The connection account has an expiration date on every single deposit. Miss the window and the opportunity disappears. Not just for you, for them. They learn to stop expecting you. They learn to stop needing you. They learn to build a life that does not include you. And that lesson once learned cannot be unlearned. I know men who made their first million at 60. I know men who found success after years of failure. The achievement account is patient. It will wait for you. But I do not know a single person who reconnected with their children after decades of absence. I do not know anyone who rebuilt a marriage after years of neglect. The connection account does not wait. I am going to tell you about the last time I saw my wife truly happy. It was 1971. We had nothing. I was working out of a rented office with a broken air conditioner. We lived in a small apartment with thin walls and neighbors who fought every night. Margaret was pregnant with our second child. Money was tight. Everything was uncertain. And she was radiant. One night we sat on our tiny balcony, eating cheap takeout from paper boxes. She looked at me and said, "I love our life." I thought she was joking. What life? We had nothing. We were nobody. But she meant it. She loved coming home to a husband who was present. She loved eating dinner together every night. She loved falling asleep next to someone who was actually there. 40 years later we had everything. A mansion, staff, cars, vacations anywhere we wanted. And she was miserable. I gave her the world and took away the only thing she actually wanted. She wanted me. Not the successful version of me. Not the wealthy version. Not the important version. Just me. The man who used to sit on a tiny balcony and eat cheap food and talk about nothing until midnight. That man died somewhere along the way. I do not know exactly when. Success killed him slowly. Each promotion, each deal, each zero added to my bank account. Something was subtracted from my humanity. By the time I realized what I had lost, I could not even remember who I used to be. You are losing yourself right now, and you do not even notice. Every time you check your email at dinner, every time you take a call during your kid's game, every time you bring your laptop on vacation, you are making a choice, and the choice is adding up. It is compounding, just like interest, but in reverse. You are not building something, you are dismantling something, piece by piece, day by day. You are slowly becoming a stranger to the people who used to know you best. My granddaughter is 26 years old. I have met her maybe 15 times in her entire life. Last year I tried to send her a graduation gift. She had finished law school. I was proud. I wanted her to know. I found out later she told her mother, my daughter, that she did not want anything from me. She said, "He is not my grandfather. He is just some old man my mum used to know. Just some old man my mum used to know." That is me. That is who I became. Not a patriarch, not a family elder, not a source of wisdom or comfort or love. Just some old man, a stranger with shared genetics. Nothing more. I want to tell you what happens at the end, because nobody talks about this part. At the end there are no deals to close, there are no meetings to attend, there are no calls to take, there is just time. Massive amounts of empty time, hours that stretch like years, and in those hours there is nothing to do but think. I think about 1987, the cold dinner, the burned candles, the look on Margaret's face when she gave up on me. I think about my son at 31, the way his face collapsed when I told him he was not smart enough. I think about my brother walking out of my office, the way he nodded like he always knew I would betray him. I think about my daughter at 8 years old waiting for me at a school play. I did not show up. I had a meeting. The meeting was about nothing. I cannot even remember what it was about, but I remember what she looked like the next morning. She did not ask me why I missed it. She had already stopped asking. These thoughts are my companions now. These memories are what I live with, not my achievements, not my success, Not my money, my regrets, my failures, the exposed faces of people I disappointed over and over again until they finally stopped being disappointed. That was the worst part, when they stopped being disappointed. Disappointment means they still expected something from you. When that goes away, you have truly lost them. I have $312 million. I would give every cent of it to have dinner with my son tonight. Real dinner. The kind where he actually wants to be there. The kind where he looks at me like I am his father and not just some obligation he escaped decades ago. That dinner will never happen. Not because I cannot afford it. I can afford anything. But because I cannot buy what I actually want. I cannot buy back the years I missed. I cannot buy back the trust I broke. I cannot buy back the love I neglected until it died. You have something I would trade my entire fortune for. You have time. You have people who still answer when you call. You have children who still look for you in the audience. You have a spouse who still expects you at dinner. You have everything. Do not do what I did. Do not wake up at 90 years old in an expensive room with an ocean view, realizing that you won everything the world told you to win and lost everything that actually mattered. Your family is not a responsibility to manage between meetings. Your children are not a checkbox on your weekly schedule. Your spouse is not someone who will always be there, no matter how many times you choose something else over them. They are leaving, slowly, quietly, without announcement. Every day you choose work over them, a small piece of their love for you dies. You will not notice today, you will not notice next year, but one day you will reach for them and find nothing there. I know because I reached, and there was nothing. I am 90 years old. I chose money over family. And now I sit here alone with both hands empty, wondering what any of it was ever for.